The fact is, depression is, I would reckon, very personal, and whatever one is suffering from could be very, very different. The sheer fact that this woman in question tried to take her own life not once, twice in the last 1 year would be testimony enough of what she was going through mentally. But having said that, Dr. Geeta Bhatt, I want to bring you in, and then we'll cut across to Mr. Hegde again, because strangely, the same woman just a week ago was allowed to terminate her pregnancy by a two-judge bench. But we're going to come back to that. Dr. Geeta Bhatt, now who takes the onus of, you've chosen pro-life, you've chosen the right of the fetus over the right of the mother here. But who takes onus if this woman in question, who's now forced to birth a child, on what she goes through mentally? Because if there was a physical ailment, if there was something physically wrong with her, a physical threat to her, the court would have ruled in a certain way. But because the threat is now mental, we're not giving it enough importance, do you reckon?
Yeah, Preeti, I think, the call of the judiciary has taken is totally based on what is there in the MTP Act, the Medical Terminate Pregnancy Act. And accordingly, they have given a verdict. But yes, I think this definitely is a moral dilemma, that whether one stands with the right to life of an unborn child, or to stand with the right of a woman on her body. Definitely, the house is divided, and there is a lot of uproar regarding that, how this woman is going to cope up because of her mental health illness. But as I understand that there have been not one but two medical boards which looked into this case, and it was based on their recommendation that the judges have given their final verdict. Now, yes, if once the child is delivered, and if the mental illness of this woman, if she, God forbid, ever takes any such extreme steps, definitely I think she already has two children. Who actually is going to look after them and take care of this unborn child? Mm-hmm. Support, I think there are various developmental organizations, NGOs, who are there to support people who are in need of psychological support, and such kind of organizations can come forward, and probably as per the directions of the court, that there will be the medical expenditure is going to be borne by the government in this case. Along with it, there could be NGOs who could come out and provide some foster support to this child. There have been previous cases also where I remember a few years ago, the Calcutta High Court had given a judgment where the child had Down syndrome, but still they refused to give permission to terminate the pregnancy.
There are multiple.
That there was no threat to the woman's life.
Right, so, but Dr. Bhatt, like I said, there are multiple times, just 3 days ago, on Friday itself, you had the Bombay High Court, which allowed the termination of a 25-week pregnancy. And even in this case, and I will bring in, our legal experts back into this conversation, Mr. Hegde, even in this case, when she came in, she was 24 weeks, 1 day pregnant. The legal recourse has taken 2 weeks of that. Otherwise, she was well within the purview of terminating this pregnancy, which was still 24 weeks. And the two-judge bench had allowed her to terminate the pregnancy till, of course, AIMS got back and said that the fetus is viable.
Well, that changed the perspective, right? See, the point with the pregnancy is that as it develops further, as the weeks go by, the fetus becomes more and more viable. Now, there have been fetuses, in fact, the word cesarean comes from Caesar, who was untimely ripped from his mother's womb. Once the fetus is viable outside the womb, the state has an interest in that. If the doctor had said, A, the fetus is not viable, if there is no fetal heartbeat, then different consequences could have followed. Even where a fetus is on the verge of viability, if the mother's health, and by that including mental health, is at very grave risk, then again an exception could be made. And that is the line that the lady's lawyer argued in court. But this is where you have to trust your judges. This is where the judges made a call. They took a look at even her mental records. Probably, there have been instances where people have been depressed in certain circumstances, but it is not something which falls within that category made in law, where the woman's life is at immediate risk. So the judges finally made a call saying that no, we cannot allow this particular abortion. Yes, other panelists were mentioning where the cases where there were 26 weeks, but then there were circumstances like rape, there were circumstances like a fetal abnormality, and there the courts have allowed it. The point to be taken home probably is that if you are going to have an abortion, please have it as fast as possible. As soon as you...
that's easier to say also, Mr. Hegde,
Yes.
because in this case, this woman didn't know she was pregnant because for 1 week she had amenorrhea, the absence of menstruation, because she was lactating, and she thought, as per medically proven, that it was a contraceptive. So she had no idea, and she approached the court at 24 weeks 1 day, which till 24 weeks is within the purview and the permit of getting a legal abortion.
Well, there is a legal saying that hard cases make bad law. And in this case, where the doctor said that the fetus has become viable, then it is a question of stopping the fetal heartbeat. Mm-hmm. I don't think the judges were willing to take that call in this particular case.
Trisha Shetty, you want to weigh in very quickly? You've been shaking your head as when Deepa and Dr. Geeta were speaking. Go ahead. But, somewhere down the line, even with Dr. Geeta Bhatt, the comments that she's made, it's got everyone split. You really don't know what side to take here.
Are you directing this question to me? Sorry.
Yes, Trisha, go ahead. Closing comments.
Yes, so I just want to say, look, there is no right to life of unborn child without acknowledging the right of the mother bearing the child in question, right? A woman is not a baby incubating machine where you're trying to make a big case for what about the right to life for the unborn child. We must take into primary consideration, you're talking about the autonomy of a woman, the right for her to make decisions, fundamental decisions about her body, and to assume that in one stretch you can say she's a fully cognizant woman, she's capable of bearing children, but in that same dimension, she's not capable of making decisions with regards to her own body. I think it's absolutely unjust and unfair. We must remember that we have laws that protect women in this country, progressive laws that also take into account the mental health of a woman. This woman has already tried to commit suicide, right?
Right.
And
okay. I'm going to cut you short on that. We're running out of time. I just want to take closing comments. Deepa Ishwar, you want to come in with your final comment?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that, life is sacred, be it of an adult or a newborn or an unborn. As much as, the moment the heart has started beating, it's a life and life is sacred. I think we should give this woman all the support we can. We should make sure that she is mentally, she has all the support, she's calm, give her all that we can as a nation. That's what we should do for her, rather than telling her that you don't need this baby. So I feel that I respect what it does.